Hello, students. How are you guys doing today? My name is Michael Sanchez, and we have a great class for you today. If you're watching from YouTube, howdy, and or Facebook, how you guys doing? We have a couple instructors that are joining us today, and they're going to kind of contribute to the discussion. I'd like to quick introduce them. First, we have Stephen Mcmullen from Houston, Texas. How you doing, Stephen?
Hi, Michael. I'm fine.
Stephen's been teaching violin for a long time, and what's some of your favorite things to do outside of teaching violin?
Well, I enjoy films. I enjoy lots of food. Houston's a great eating town. Let's see. I do a lot of tinkering around. I'm the inventor of a shoulder rest, and we can talk about that a little bit later if you like. So I'm kind of an inventor, tinkerer, patent kind of guy. So that keeps me intrigued all the time.
Very cool. Thanks so much for joining us, Stephen. And we also have Mary. She's another instructor. Mary, how are you doing today?
Great.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been teaching violin for, and how long you've been playing for.
I've been playing for about 30 years and teaching for about 20. And I teach from young to, I don't want to say old, but the more mature. And from beginning to advanced, so the whole entire gamut.
Very cool. And is that your son with you there?
Yes, insisting he wants to be part of the picture.
What's his name?
It's David, and he plays piano and cello. We've got a
Very
musical
good.
family.
David, nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us and being with your mom there. Very cool. So yeah, we're going to talk basically about some of the fundamentals of the violin. So I think what we're going to do is each talk just a little bit about some of the things that we find important as teachers for students to work on when they're first starting. Maybe some left-hand advice, some right-hand advice. So yeah, each teacher will give about a 2 to 3 minute discussion on what they feel is important. Let's start with Stephen.
With any beginner or any professional, we always try to get our hand position and bow position correct, staying relaxed and limber throughout all exercises. One of the things that's becoming more talked about in our industry and is coming down into the student studios now is keeping our health up, and that would have to do with the alignment of your head and your neck and your spine and the use of your shoulders. So all of these things that we're learning in sports medicine now are filtering into the music field, and we have a wonderful performing arts medicine group here in Houston through the Methodist Hospital, and they're just really doing some remarkable things. One of them is they're studying the reflexology, the muscle movements of the hand and arm on some of the students over at the Shepherd School at Rice University, and I understand that about 20 violinists are being monitored regularly through their 4 or their 5-year curriculum there, so that we can begin to really look at some of the details of what kind of physical work we actually do. Another website showed me in sort of basic terms how much effort goes into holding a violin on your shoulder, and the measurements were really kind of surprising to me that we go anywhere from 8 to about 16 pounds of force when we spike the effort to hold the violin, either under tension or at those moments where we really have to exert a little bit of force to sustain the instrument. So being careful about our technique, the alignment of hand and shoulders is extremely important at the beginning stages.
Thank you, Stephen. Mary, what is some of your insights kind of on important elements of fundamentals related to the violin? Oh, there we go. Go ahead.
There I am. Two things. Certainly the technical aspect, the how-to, and then how to transfer the how-to into the musical side of what we're trying to do. So sometimes when we look at a musician, we hear the beauty, we see the beauty, and we think it's all very artistic and gorgeous, but there's a lot of work that goes behind it. And trying to demystify the technical aspect of how we approach this instrument, I think, is one of my passions. So that is it possible? Yes, we just need to keep breaking it down to the point that it is possible and then rebuild it from there. And then, of course, you don't want anything to be too sterile of this is exactly how you execute, but you want to have it be musical and you want to be singing. So those two things are what I focus a lot in my teaching.
Very good. Thank you for your insights. So yeah, I'll give you guys a little bit of importance regarding fundamentals. So yeah, I mean, I'm very into, setting students up properly. I typically tell them when they first come to the first lesson, I tell them, it takes about 5 weeks to really grasp the fundamentals of the violin. No matter if you've played another instrument for, 30 years, it takes learning the muscle memory of the violin. It's totally different to pretty much any other instrument. Once you get the fundamentals down, it really makes a big difference, in your progress. So it's like so important for students to focus on it. And there's a lot of drills that you can do when you're first starting to really grasp the fundamentals. I have a ton of them on my website on YouTube. So if you're interested, go to youtube.com/violintutorpro, and there's a Technique Tuesday playlist, and I have a ton of drills and different things you can work on. You can always email me as well, rivertownviolin@hotmail.com, if you have any questions. But basically, it's so important to set up your right hand, the bow grip. So many students, right off the bat, they kind of develop tension in the hand just by how they're holding the bow. So a lot of times, they're to the side too much instead of being on top. Their pinky is more straightened instead of being curved. Their thumb is, pushing up against the bow improperly instead of being nice and curved. That's pretty common, when you're first starting to do those things. So it's so important to have a proper bow hold, when you first start playing the violin. So that's one of the most important things. So, I highly recommend if you're trying to self-teach yourself at all, really focus in on the bow hold because it's really important. The next things, is the left hand and setting up properly. So many students, right off the bat, they're playing more easier songs. So they kind of just clap their hand wherever and just kind of do whatever is comfortable. But it's so important to have a high hand. Notice how my knuckles are up high. And also the finger angles of playing the violin. So many students are more on this angle instead of this angle, which makes it a lot more difficult to find notes properly. So there's a ton that can be said about the left hand. There's a ton that can be said about the right hand. Typically, the first 5 weeks of lessons that I have with students, I'm focusing on those fundamentals and giving them drills to do. And I've seen a ton of success with students that really focus on it and practice drills. And after that, they typically don't have to do as many or focus on it as much. Although as you progress, you always have to think about technique in some aspect. But yeah, if you're unsure of some of those fundamentals, for example, I have a checklist of 30 different things that are reminders and helpful things that you should do up properly in the violin when you're first starting, actually throughout the whole process. But it's a great checklist that you can kind of check to see if you're doing all these things or understand what they are. And I actually have a video that goes along with it to kind of explain each fundamental. Lately, I've been kind of forwarding that to a lot of my new students, and they've really appreciated that, and they've been able to work on those fundamentals pretty well. So yeah, if you're interested in that, just please feel free to email me, like I said, at rivertownviolin@hotmail.com. So thank you guys all for watching from YouTube. I'm really excited about these new classes. We're going to be offering tons of them, hopefully in the next couple months, and everything will be posted at my website if you go to tips.violintutorpro.com/August classes, or class details, I should say class-details, it gives you all the list of everything that we're offering right now. So it's a great way for you guys to learn and to improve your skills on the violin or fiddle, which we're going to have lots of classes on the fiddle as well. For now, one of the perks for actually being in the class is we're going to open it up to questions to any student that's in the class right now. We have about 10 students listening live, and that's one of the perks for being in the class. So hope you guys express interest in that. You can email me or submit the form on the website, and then we'll get you into the class. Thanks so much for watching, guys.